In the studio today, and I want to talk about what I think is the best medium format camera ever made in my opinion, and that is the Fuji GX680. Let's take a quick look at it. All right, let's take a look at this thing. It is a bit of a beast and a little on the heavy side, but I've handheld it in many situations. It's got a nice revolving back. You can shoot vertically or horizontally with a 6x8 format, which is ideal for advertising, which is what I do. It also has, let's see if I can do this from behind here, drop in and out cartridges, so you can have these, your assistant load these or whoever, so you have them standing by ready to go, drop them in. Kind of hard to do one backwards. Put it in like that, you're ready to go. Okay, the features on the side of the camera, got your on, single shot, continuous shot, and there's a little lever right here you pull out to go to multi-shot when you want to do multiple exposure. You've got your mirror lockup, which I use when I'm shooting products, so just nothing, camera doesn't bounce, anything like that. But obviously when you're shooting people, you need to be able to see, keep the mirror locked down. And then typically I keep it on continuous. Your trigger release is right here, shutter release. Pretty simple, winds the film like that. The dark slide for the back of the camera is right here. And if the dark slides in, camera won't fire. Pull the dark slide out. It's got a slot on the back, slides right into that, and you're ready to go, and the camera will fire right away. Focus knob is right here. There's one on the other side, exactly the same setup on the other side. The lock focus is right here. Easily, super easy, smooth focus on this. Then you lock it in place, which is good to go. You've got your tilt right here, knob, so you can tilt the lens up, down. Works basically like a 4x5. Then you got your rise and fall knob right here, so you can raise and lower the lens, which works really well for architecture. We'll go out and maybe we'll do a shot on set just to show you kind of how it works with the camera mounted up. See the shutter speed right here, which is great. You got a view of the battery life right there. Frame counter on the back shows you what frame you're on. Super simple. Then the back, button right here, depress that. Oh, got to put the dark slide back in first. So you do that, like that. Push the button. It's hard to do this when I'm facing away from myself. Push that like that, back rotates, pops right off just like that. So you can have multiple backs working for you, and then they just bayonet right back on. Same button to do the rotation, just like that. All right, that's pretty much it from the side. Oh, and then you've got your aperture right here, which you can also see from the top when you're viewing from above when you're focusing in and everything, and a hot shoe as well right there. And you've got your flash sync right here as well. That's pretty much it for the side of the camera. And I gotta grab the phone. Studio, this is Todd. I'm good, how are you, Pete? All right, sorry about the interruption, but you gotta deal with your clients. Let's take this thing out and do a little setup out in the studio there, and we'll show how the tilt and the shift and all that stuff works when you're working with some product out there to keep everything in focus and all that kind of good stuff that goes along with that. Oh, and we will put on my phase back, so we'll shoot digitally with it, which has an adapter, and I'll talk more about that once we get on set. Okay, we got a small little setup going on here, little studio, quick thing put together. Phase back is on the camera now, connected to the iMac over there. It's an older phase back. I've got a P30, so you got to go Firewire 400 to Firewire 800 and convert it to lightning bolt, which is not that big of a deal, but it's a little bit of a connection thing. And then you need to use this capture group adapter to make this thing fire on the camera. So you've got to go into the flash sync right here, connecting to the RC remote control right here with that cable. Then this cable goes on the back of the digital back right here, plugs in like that. And you got to find a place to hold this, which is just usually I let it hang like that. Oh, and then you've got to set your shutter speed to match what your shutter speed is here on the camera. Then turn the camera to multi. It's got to be on multi-exposure for this. And then you're all set there. And then again, just let this guy hang like that. And the trigger is hooked up to that. So you're good with the trigger right here. One push, boom, you're good to go. Okay. While we've got this set up, I think it's a good time to talk about the lenses. There's plenty of lenses that you can buy for this camera. And on eBay right now, all of this stuff, since this camera's been out of service for a while, they don't make it anymore. You can find all this stuff on eBay for really pretty cheap. Like some of the lenses are only 90 bucks on there, and you can find a body for like 600. You can find some kits for like 700 bucks or bigger kits for up to 1,000 bucks, but it's all on eBay. You can find all this stuff. But the lenses, pretty simple to take off. All you do is there's a little lever right here. You flip this lever up, pop it off. And I got all the lenses out here. You can just easily grab the lens. There's little slots on the bottom. Drop it right in. Make sure it's latched on the bottom, and then it clicks right in. See, I didn't get it latched on the bottom. So you want to make sure you get that bottom in first. Make sure it's locked. Boom. And then it's in good, and you're ready to go. So that takes care of the lenses. I have a 180, a 125, a 65, 100, and a 50. And that's pretty much covered everything I've ever needed. They make a longer, they make a 300, a 210, I believe. I can't remember all the lenses, but there's a ton of them out there on eBay. You can find them. And it's really pretty affordable, good medium format 6x8 to get into for cheap if you want to shoot film still, or if you can find the capture, put your phase back on it and shoot to digital right there like I do. But let's do a little look at how this bellows works and the front elements on the camera. So as you can see, the product's going a little bit of an angle like that, lens angles like this, so we're going to move that front element over to match that angle so we can carry focus all the way through. Just double check that. That looks good. And then it looks like I'm a little bit high on the product, so I'm going to come down, push the front element down, the front lens down just a little bit to get the crop where I want. That way I don't have to move the whole camera. That looks good. And then we're going to tilt it forward just a tiny bit to carry focus on that. And that looks good there. And then we fire away. And we can see, keeps focus, if you can see the screen, keeps focus all the way across without going, shooting at f/22 or whatever. Just gives you a little more range to play with product to keep it all sharp, which is really nice to have. All right, that's a pretty good look at the camera itself. Oh, there is one more attachment that you can use, which is nice to have, which is the right angle finder, which is great when you end up shooting something straight down. You drop this little guy on, drops right in there like that, and then you can obviously use it like this, but it works better when you're shooting straight down. That way you don't have to tip your head weird to look into it. All right, that takes care of everything out here, and I'll show you a few examples of some shots I've done with this camera in the past and some of the work for Nike I've done with it, and some other portrait stuff for an agency, little agency called Wieden & Kennedy. All right, I'll get back to the computer. Okay, that's a look at the Fuji GX680, the best medium format camera ever made, in my opinion, for the kind of work I do. All right, you can leave your comments below if you like this, didn't like it, kind of new to this, so let me know what you think. All right, I'm out.